Oh, you often got the question about the normal day in a writer's life, but I mean, there are no normal days. I mean, I've been trying to find a system for writing since I started, but I never found the system. So I can write anywhere. If I have 2 hours to spare, if I have the story. But the important thing is to have the story, because you need the stuff in here before you can start writing about it. But the ideal day, because I live on Gotland in Sweden, the island Gotland in the Baltic Sea, the ideal day is to take the dog for a walk in the morning for an hour and a half, perhaps, if the weather is fine. And while you take the dog for the walk, then you can come up with at least one chapter, and then you have breakfast, and then you have to attend to the horses, etc., etc. But I mean, if you keep while you were walking the dog, keep it here, and then you can, in the afternoon, get it down, and pretty quickly. I mean, I'd like to write at least a chapter a day is ideal, really, like 5 up to 10 pages. Writers are very good to tell lies about their own process of work, I think. I mean, some writers, there are different. I mean, you need to find your own way to go about it. But some writers, they want to say that I just sit down and I put 2 people in a cafe and they start talking and then everything is happening. They are lying, apparently, because you need an idea. Some writers, they want to know everything in advance. They want to write every chapter or think about every chapter. They want to know where the book is going to end before they start, which to me would be pretty boring, because this is a creative process. And I think it's good, for me, it's good to have this basic idea that this kind of story, it will probably go this way, but I'm not so sure about it. It makes the process more interesting. It makes it like reading a book instead of writing it. And to me, writing and reading are very, very similar to each other when it comes to the sensation of it, how you experience it. And I want to be the first reader of my own writing, sort of. Language is what paint is to a painter. I mean, you need the language, and I'm very keen on the language, of course. But it's a flow when you write your first manuscript. It's a flow. But then I rewrite so many times, and thank God there are computers, because in the old days you could, if you wanted to change forwards in a chapter, you needed to rewrite the whole bloody chapter. Nowadays you can do it very quickly. But I reread my books 10 times before I send them to the publishing house. I'm very, very keen on the language, and I'm happy that some readers even notice it, because I mean the paradoxical thing is that language should not be noticed. Then is probably something wrong with it. Or you can use the language if you want to. You can use language if you want to slow the pace of the reader down. You put in some longer, strange words, and then you can calm down the reading. But of course, language it's absolutely crucial to writing. Well, the first reader is myself, and the second reader is my wife. But I'm a very sensitive writer, so I couldn't start reading to her before it's all there. If I write a first chapter and she says, "Well, this wasn't very good, was it?" then I will lose faith and I will stop my writing. But I read to my dog. That's a very good trick. And if the dog stays in the room, it's probably a pretty good chapter. If the dog leaves the room, it's not a good one. But you can cheat. You can feed the dog properly. Then the chances that he will stay in the room digesting his food is pretty good. But my first reader is myself, and then the dog, and then my wife.